Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Melanin Margin, the weekly chat show where conversations about race are never off the table. We're your hosts, Quaviondre Williams.
And Daquon Wilson.
So let's get into this week's conversation. What's hot on the table this week?
In an article written on CNN Entertainment News by Scotty Andrew, we learned that while one Black woman was having her dreams realized at the Emmys, another Black woman had her dream overshadowed. Quinta Brunson brought the audience to its feet when she won her first Emmy. But at her feet during the moment was Jimmy Kimmel, who pretended to be unconscious and stayed on the floor while she accepted her award as part of an intended joke that ended up miffing some viewers. Kimmel presented the award for Outstanding Writing for a Comedy Series with Will Arnett, who dragged Kimmel on stage and joked that Kimmel got into the skinny margaritas at the theater's bar after losing in an earlier category. After the Abbott Elementary creator and star was announced as winner for writing the pilot of the popular sitcom, Kimmel stayed on the ground at the base of the microphone stand. He remained there throughout Brunson's acceptance speech and into the commercial break, nearly 2 minutes in total. Footage shared by a ceremony attendee showed that Arnett pulled Kimmel's body off stage at the end of the segment. Brunson, unfazed, used her limited time to thank the Abbott Elementary team, her family, and her husband, but not without a dig at Kimmel. Quote, "Jimmy, wake up, I won." Later backstage, Brunson addressed the moment, saying the bits didn't bother me that much, and that Kimmel was an early supporter of her and Abbott Elementary. "Tomorrow, maybe I'll be mad at him. I'm going to be on his show on Wednesday, so I might punch him in the face," end quote, she jokes. So, Andre, I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts about Jimmy Kimmel's bit?
Before I get into that, I really want to talk about Kimmel's apology. He invited Emmy winner Quinta Brunson on his talk show to talk about the incident and goes on to explain the joke. First off, if you have to explain a joke, then it wasn't funny. Then he says, quote, "People said I stole your moment, and maybe I did, and I'm very sorry if I did do that. Well, I'm sorry I did do that, actually. And also, the last thing I would ever want to do is upset you because I think so much of you. I think you know that. I hope you know that." Yet again, we have to do another apology breakdown. He opened up his apology by stating that people said that I stole your moment, which off gate feels like a deflection tactic. That statement alone completely undercut everything he said after because it shows a lack of self-reflection. He's basically saying, without directly saying it, that the only reason he's apologizing is because people said that he was wrong and not because he felt what he did was wrong. Then the last thing I would ever want to do is upset you. There is something about him using that particular phrasing, Daquon, that just does not sit right in my black ass. Quinta Brunson. Okay, bitch, I thought I was the only one because Quinta Brunson has taken all of this in stride and not expressed any justifiable anger towards Jimmy Kimmel throughout the coverage of this whole incident. But this phrasing feels like he's trying to put himself in the position as the victim, and he says that he upset her unintentionally. It was a very poor choice of words. What he should have said was, "Quinta, I apologize for interrupting such a prestigious moment for you with a tasteless joke that was made at your expense. It was not okay, and I hope that you know that I would never intentionally try to undercut your amazing achievement." But moving on to the moment itself, simply put, if Jimmy really respected Quinta Brunson the way he claims he does, this wouldn't have happened. The moment that the winner was announced, the comedy bit should have been over. The fact that Quinta Brunson had to literally step over him and have him lying on the floor throughout her entire speech is giving the same energy as Kanye West going up to Taylor Swift going, "I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had the best video of all time." And then there's how this whole thing has been reported. Because when Kanye, a black man, took the shine away from a white woman, Taylor Swift, the news reported it as Kanye ruins Taylor Swift's moment. After Quinta Brunson was asked about how she felt about what Kimmel did, she took a lighthearted jab about punching him in the face, and that has been the headline of every major news article. Why, you ask? Because the angry black woman being upset at a white man making what I'm sure a lot of white people thought was a harmless joke just feeds into the stereotype that they love to hold on to. Even when Jimmy lets her interrupt his monologue at the beginning of the show, some news reports say that this is her getting revenge, which has a very negative connotation to it, especially when we look at this through a racial lens, because it's not revenge, it's reciprocity. But what pisses me off the most is that yet again, a black woman is still expected to take this graciously, because even when Quinta tried to focus on the positive crowning achievement that she just got, people still want to label her as being upset or angry. I wonder, Daquon, just off the top of my head, what would have happened had this black woman actually expressed visible and justified annoyance at this stunt? Would the headline have been something like, Quinta Brunson looks on angrily at Jimmy Kimmel's comedy bit? But even though he tried to steal the spotlight, Quinta Brunson is still the first black woman to earn 3 nominations in the comedy category and the youngest black woman ever nominated for an acting award in the same category. So you better fucking slay Mrs. Quinta Brunson. But Daquon, I will pass it back to you, bitch. What are your thoughts on this whole shit?
I'll say before I start that multiple things can be true at once. Did Quinta say that this bit didn't bother her? Yes. Was the bit still wildly inappropriate? Also, yes. I think that, like you said, this joke was tasteless. Like, why are you laying at your big age? Why are you laying down in a suit that probably cost $200?
Not a couple hundred.
I'll give a couple thousand, maybe. You know.
Daquon said, in that little $20 suit.
In that little $20 suit. But at your big age, you just laying on the ground in a suit where people have been stepping. Their shoes have been all over that stage. Like, it's not giving funny. It's not funny at all. And I think that this speaks to the larger conversation of these type of award shows of like, why are we trying so hard to bring comedy into these things? These are supposed to be prestigious awards that are given because you are a part of this industry. And yet we still have this vast commercialization of it because people want to stuff comedians into it, and it might make people want to tell jokes and all this and that. And we see a lot of times when jokes don't go well, things happen and then outrage happens about the reaction to it. And I think that, you did bring up a good point about how Quinta Brunson, as a black woman, has been expected to take this graciously. And I think that, does play a part in her response because, like you said, what if she did was like, get your ass off the stage. This is my moment.
Exactly.
On stage. They would have been tearing her.
Ate her alive.
Alive. Because I know, let that happen to me. I would have been like, get your ass out.
Here we go.
This is my moment.
So, is he going to get up or?
Is he going to get up? Because I'm reclaiming my time.
Exactly.
My time.
Well, here we go. Being extra petty, being like, so I'll wait for Jimmy to get up. So they can go take his seat. I'll wait. Here we go, like the teacher. I'll wait.
I pulled that. I'll pull that sometimes as a teacher. I know exactly how to do that. But I think even in, places reporting that she got her revenge, quote unquote, on the Jimmy Kimmel show, like, we know that was scripted. We know that they planned to do that. Quinta was not aware that Jimmy Kimmel would be laying on the stage during her shining moment because she wasn't made aware that she got the Emmy until it was said. So this is just overall just a terrible situation because it should never happen. We should be able to just have people celebrate their moments in their industry and call it a day. The Emmys, the Oscars, Grammys, the
Yeah.
Tonys, they don't need to be this commercial experience. It can be just a crowning moment for people in the industry, because there are so many people who look at these moments as being so prestigious that I finally made it. Like, people dream about these moments. But
Hmm.
of course, there's people like Kimmel who's been nominated plenty of times and has won multiple awards. That's like, oh, it's just an award. Like, I can do this and it doesn't really matter because it's funny. But no, this is somebody's moment. And like, it's so annoying that literally half of the pictures, or the majority of the pictures you see of Quinta receiving this award, has Kimmel at her feet. And then very few news articles or anything like that crops it
Prop
so
him.
that we
Yeah,
just
yeah.
get Quinta Brunson. The focus is on Jimmy Kimmel, and like, this is a moment where whiteness does not need to censor itself.
Exactly.
Somebody won. A black woman won. Let her have her time. Let black people have their moments. When they see representation that they like on screen, let them have their moment. When they win a big award, let them have their moment. It's as simple as that.
And I think that also, Daquon, I don't know about you, but it was really uncomfortable. If you watch the video, it was
Very.
like there was no part in that where I was like, oh, this is funny. Because even as she was stepping, she had to lift up her dress to step over him and was like, Jimmy, I won. And then saw, and you could kind of hear her being like, oh, he's not getting up. Oh, he's just gonna stay on the ground. And then she had to keep mentioning it, like, oh, he just like put up a thumbs up. So you were aware that you were doing this, and you were aware that you were taking away her time, and you were taking away this moment. And like, I could only imagine. And it just that's what breaks my heart the most, is because I know that feeling of being like, is this finally gonna be my time? Is this finally gonna be my chance to show the world what I'm made of, and to show the world that I did that? And then, it's already enough to be like, okay, I didn't get it. Okay, whatever, whatever. But to have that kind of wash of validation, even though she doesn't need it because she's a bad bitch regardless. But, there's something to be said about getting that validation and getting that from a big, prestigious award show like the Emmys, and seeing that moment of being like, oh my God, they see me. And then to have this whole entire experience overshadowed by a white man making a joke. It's complete bullshit. But I also think that the reason why stuff like this happens is because white people feel uncomfortable when they realize that Black and POC people are breaking barriers that some of them try their best to pretend doesn't exist. They feel an unease at knowing that white supremacy is directly responsible for the oppression of Black and POC people. So they just want to cut the tension with a joke. A TikToker brought this to my attention a while back, and I wish I would have saved the video when I saw it so I could credit her properly. But basically, she spoke about Viola Davis discussing the controversy surrounding her wearing her natural hair to the Oscars red carpet. And when Viola Davis started talking about the shame society puts on Black women wearing their natural hair, Anderson Cooper cut in with a joke about him wearing a weave. But Viola Davis doesn't let that joke deter the room from continuing the conversation. And the TikToker went on to say that instead of trying to cut the tension when someone talks about discrimination, sit with that discomfort and unpack why you felt the need to try and interject in the first place, and then listen and learn from it. And I thought that was so powerful, because that is the truth. All the isms and systems of oppression set up are all uncomfortable conversations, because to have them means to understand that all of us can benefit and can be affected by the oppression of others. But the only way out is through. We have to confront that discomfort head on in order to create a better society. But Daquon, why do you think white people feel the need to both consciously and subconsciously take the weight out of important moments for Black people and people of color?
I think that it kind of deteriorates their argument that, we've made all of this progress. Like, things are fine now, and we can be this colorblind society. When in reality, when we're still having a black firsts, still having all of these black achievements because black people have been pushed out of being able to get these achievements for so long, it really makes you realize we may have come away, but we're still not to that place where we need to be and where we should be when it comes to race and identity in this country. So I think that it makes them, like you said, it makes them uncomfortable. It creates a level of discomfort that they don't want to sit in. And so they make jokes or they make, light statements. And I think that, even with Jimmy Kimmel, like, this isn't his first time doing something like this. When the whole La La Land thing happened and La La Land didn't win, it was actually Moonlight. He was like, I don't know why y'all are saying this. You should have just kept the award. And it's like, you just let black people have their moment? Like, do you really have to sit in that discomfort? And not only that, but he had, I blame Steve Harvey. He had I blame Steve Harvey moment. And it's like, okay, this is why, like, cutting jokes is not funny at this time. Like, nobody's really laughing. And if they do, it's that awkward laugh. Like, ha ha ha. Like, can we get this going?
Move on?
Can we move on because this is awkward?
Yeah, and I think also, Daquon, like we've talked about this all the time on the show, but like understanding the intersectionality of life and understanding that all of us benefit from a privilege in some way. It may not be a privilege that we think we do, but like I said, we all talk about it all the time, like, experiencing male privilege because you're perceived as a man, or experiencing white privilege even though you're gay, or whatever. So it's like, the only way that we're going to fix any of this shit, the only way that we're going to improve and we're going to grow as a society is if we stop saying, well, I'm the only one that's hurting. It's only me. It's like, no, bitch.
What about me?
What about me? I'm a white woman. It's like, yeah, but you're not a black woman. Or here we go, I'm gay. What about me? Yeah, but you're white and gay, not black and gay. You know what I'm saying? So it's like understanding that, yes, we understand that as women, you are oppressed, and as gay people, we are oppressed, and as black people, we are oppressed. But there are intersections of privilege that feed into all of these different identities. So it's kind of like, yo, do some self-reflection, bitch. Learn some shit.